Good afternoon. Welcome to today's webinar focused on providing a comprehensive introduction to the NACo High Performance Leadership Academy. My name is Mark Levine. I'm the Deputy Director of the New York State Association of Counties. And on behalf of our President, Jack Marin, and our Executive Director, Stephen Aquario, I want to thank you for joining us this afternoon. I also want to give a quick shout out and a special thank you to NACo for helping to coordinate today's program for us. At this time, I would like to turn it over to our Director of Education and Training, Jeanette Stanziano, for a couple of housekeeping items.
Thank you, Mark. Just a couple of items before we begin. We will be recording this program and posting it with a PDF of the slides on the NISAC website under education/webinars, most likely before the end of the day today. If you have questions during the program, please refer to your webinar dashboard and type in your questions at any time during the presentation under the Questions tab. Type them in, submit them, and we will get to any questions live during the Q&A portion of the program at the end of the presentation. I think that's it. Mark, back to you.
Thank you, Jeanette. The NACo High Performance Leadership Academy is an innovative, completely online, mostly self-paced 12-week program created to equip frontline county government professionals with practical leadership skills to deliver results for counties and communities. With a robust curriculum developed by the Professional Development Academy in partnership with Fortune 1000 executives, public sector leaders, world-renowned academics, and thought leaders, including General Colin Powell, the Academy was designed specifically for the unique challenges and opportunities of serving in county government. Dozens of New York County officials have gone through this program, and we will be joined today by two of them. And NISAC wanted to put on this webinar this afternoon to help raise awareness about the benefits and opportunities that are available by going through this program. Our speakers today are Tim Rischulte, PhD. He's the Chief Executive Officer at the Professional Development Academy and Chief Architect of the NACo High Performance Leadership Program. The Honorable Daniel S. DeGeer, is the Director of the Madison County Office of Emergency Management. He oversees a department consisting of 22 full-time and 24 part-time employees. Dan began his current role with Madison County in January 2020, just prior to the beginning of the pandemic. He's in his third year as a vice chair of the NACo Homeland Security Subcommittee, a member of the NACo Justice and Public Safety Steering Committee, and a member of the NISAC Public Safety Standing Committee. Dan completed the NACo High Performance Leadership Academy in the fall of 2020. Dan served as the Town of DeRuyter Town Supervisor and County Supervisor for Madison County from 2008 to 2019. We're also joined by the Honorable Tara Gaston from the Saratoga County City Supervisor. In January 2018, Tara took office as one of the two supervisors for the city of Saratoga Springs and was recently reelected. She brings a new perspective and a focus on transparency to the Saratoga County Board of Supervisors. In this role, Tara also serves as a progressive voice for her county on a number of state and national committees working on mental health and public health, veterans issues, agriculture, and energy. Tara is an attorney admitted in New York State, focused on constant practice improvement and the use of technologies in increasing justice and fair representation. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon, and it is my pleasure now to turn it over to Dr. Tim.
Yeah, thanks, Mark, and thanks, Jeanette. I really appreciate the opportunity to participate today and be a part of this conversation around workforce development and specifically leadership development. And I know as Mark has already outlined some of the critical aspects and key unique aspects and distinctive aspects of the NACo High Performance Leadership Academy. And some of you already know about this program. Maybe you've seen it on the NACo website where you can learn about it at naco.org/skills. Or maybe you've been at a NISAC presentation before where it was discussed, or a NACo presentation, maybe at one of their annual conferences or their legislative conference or somewhere else. Or maybe you've even talked with one of your colleagues within your county or in a neighboring county who has experience in the program, whether that be someone like Dan or Tara, who we're going to be hearing from in just a little bit. But whether you do know about the program or if you don't quite know about the program, we always like to think about it this way. One, we are incredibly challenged within local government by the work that lies before us. The last 15 months, 18 months has been an incredible amount of change in the way in which we think about delivering the business of our counties, the services that those citizens within our counties need. And we've been able to accommodate them in a very great way, despite the challenges that we have been faced over the last year and a half. But in addition to that, there have just been some ongoing things that have really created challenges and a continual aspect of change within local government. The constancy of needing to do more with less, the constancy of challenge when it comes to attracting great talent within county workforce, keeping that talent highly engaged, and then planning for and engaging in succession events for when the leaders within our counties move on into retirement, and we're looking to bring up the emerging leaders within our counties. There's a lot of challenge that we face. There's a lot of ongoing change that we engage in, and we have had conversations with folks from across the country, not just in New York, but from across the country, and that is, how are you doing that? How are you building an institution of leaders, not just your existing leaders, to make them better and better? Because let's face it, some of the things we have been faced with in the last year have been extremely unique for all of us. And therefore, we recognize, because of the newness of some of the change that we engage in, we constantly have to get better ourselves as leaders. So how do we make our existing leaders better? How do we make those emerging leaders ready for the change that they will be faced with and that they will be responsible for helping to navigate, not just for themselves, but for those that they serve, the employees within our counties, and then those citizens that we serve through the services that we provide to them? It's a challenge for sure. And in many cases, counties themselves are looking to partner. They're looking to partner with NISAC. They're looking to partner with NACo. They're looking to partner with other counties from across the state and neighboring states as well on how do we best think about our workforce management? How do we best prepare leaders for what we're currently dealing with and what's going to be coming next? And we like to think about it from the perspective of, well, what if? What if we were able to collaborate with General Powell? And what if we were able to collaborate with not just him, but also leaders, executive leaders from for-profit organizations, as well as nonprofit organizations, government-based organizations, academics from some of the most prestigious universities in the world, and thought leaders in the space of management, leadership, addressing and planning and executing sustaining positive change for those that we serve on a regular basis. What if all these individuals could come together and develop a program that is affordable, that is non-disruptive to the busy schedules of these leaders within your counties, and that therefore could scale at a level that could accommodate the number of leaders that we can think about, not just within our own counties, but from across counties in the United States, so that we can help develop all of those leaders across the board. What if that could happen? If that could happen, is that something that we would be interested in? And of course, the answer is yes. It's a unanimous yes, uniformly yes. And the next slide illustrates exactly that which has happened. And these individuals did come together. It was in 2000 and 12 or 13, General Powell wrote his book, It Worked for Me in Life and Leadership, in which he details not just from what he learned and applied in the military environment, but in his business environment as well, for the boards that he sits on in nonprofit organizations and for-profit organizations. And the time that he spent in the White House, he identified 13 rules, and him, along with a whole host of others, as illustrated on the next slide, it talks about this idea of they did come together. We have been working with NACo since 2014, when we first built the Professional Development Academy and this High Performance Leadership Academy. We've been working with counties from across the United States to make this high performance leadership program available. And it wasn't just General Powell. Again, it was all of these individuals. We worked with over 3,000 executives and thought leaders and academicians and researchers and practitioners on the for-profit and nonprofit side, governments and industry-based organizations, to come up with this High Performance Leadership Academy. As Mark has mentioned in the prelude to this presentation, it is a 12-week program. 12 weeks is enough time to really not only understand core content around leadership and leadership development and the role that I play as a leader within my county, but it's also enough time, 3 months is enough time to start creating behavioral change and habits within the way in which we think about the work that we do, how we engage with individuals, how we face challenge, how we create positive situations around challenging situations, positive opportunities to have crucial conversations around critical aspects of the way in which we think about our business, and with an eye toward continual improvement, constantly getting better and better and better. And that's really what leaders try to do. We try to make whatever it is we're currently doing even better, more efficient for our customers, more rewarding for our employees. The way in which we think about people is very, very important, and that's what leaders really do. So this group did come together. In 2014, we gathered research from over 3,000 executives. We held over 150 focus groups to put together what is the High Performance Leadership Academy. We have a national leadership board that continually reviews feedback and content, and we make modifications around the content we have and the context that we have to make it more compelling as we roll this out year over year over year. And as we've been doing this, in 2018, NACo formally created a scholarship fund to make sure that anyone from a county government who ever wanted to go through a program would have access to a scholarship. It's not 100% to cover the entire cost, but it's a substantial amount. The retail price of this 12-week program is $2,495, and there's an $850 scholarship for every person that enrolls in this program. So it's $1,645 is the price for anyone enrolling across New York counties. And I take that back. Actually, it's even better. It's $1,545 is what the price is for New York counties. And so there's a substantial scholarship that NACo provides. And so the price is $1,545 for anyone coming in from a New York county. And so we want to make sure that it is affordable, that it's attainable for anyone who wants to go through the program. And we have had a number of people go through the program. We have provided over $5 million in scholarships since the middle of 2018, when that scholarship fund first came together. We have provided our leadership development to nearly 2/3 of all counties in the United States, and many of the counties in New York have been participating in this program. And what I'd like to do is just share a couple slides, and then I want to bring Dan and Tara in to provide their own perspectives around this. What we heard when we were designing this program was that there are 3 things that we really need to make sure that we get correct in a program like this, because our leaders are already so busy. And the next slide illustrates those 3 things around access, relevance, and efficiency. The best leadership training takes place when it is a mentor-based program, where we have individuals that have the most experience, transitioning that experience, that know-how, those lessons learned, transitioning that experience to those that need that experience the most, those that are up and coming in their leadership career. What they might be existing leaders looking to get better, or they're emerging leaders looking to get ready for the change that they're expected to lead. But we have to provide that level of access, and that's what we have. We have General Powell and Marshall Goldsmith and Susie Smibert and Sarah Andrews and a number of other individuals again, from for-profit organizations and government-based organizations, providing their thought leadership. It's virtually mentoring individuals that go through this program around the critical topics of leadership, being a leader, and what leadership really means in helping to build expectations, alignment, and then ultimately results and outcomes in the work that's being done by teams of individuals. So we've got 180 some executives like this that are part of this 12-week program on video, providing their level of perspective, lessons learned, and leadership know-how to those that are going through the program. It is absolutely relevant. You know, we have heard from individuals that this program is a quote unquote game changer, that this program is quote unquote unprecedented, that this program is like none other that they've experienced. And part of that is certainly because of the access to the executives that you have, but then also the relevance, the absolute relevance that we hear people time and again saying that, well, what I learned in this lesson today, I can immediately apply to the work that I'm doing right now. And that is a constant echoing of feedback that we get from individuals that have been through the program. And again, we've had 2/3 of all counties in the United States have been participating. We will have well over 2,000 participants just this year, probably close to 3,000 participants will be going through the program just this year in 2021. And the program is efficient. We wouldn't be able to have that many people going through the program if it wasn't efficient. We easily could have taken the content we had and built out a 10 or 20 or 50 or even 80-hour-a-week program. No one has time for that. Our program can be fully engaged in about 4 or 5 hours per week of individual time. And Mark alluded to this at the very beginning of the presentation. It's largely self-directed. So if you have time the very first thing of each morning for about an hour, 45 minutes, you can certainly do this program. If you've got a couple hours on a Tuesday afternoon, you can do this program. We do have it very well balanced with synchronous activities like live events, webinars that you can attend. But we also have it structured where it can be asynchronous as well. Those webinars are recorded and made available to you after the fact. So if you happen to be on PTO or you've got a competing meeting, it's very flexible to busy schedules and it's efficient in that way. So the access, the relevance, and efficiency really create the differentiating factor of this program as compared to any others. And we've had individuals that have said, they've been through Harvard programs or Stanford programs or other programs offered by the state, and that this program really does stand alone when you think about the cost, the timing, the content, and the efficiency of delivery. It does, as one person has said to us, it really does create the highest and fastest return on investment or return on learning, if you want to think of it that way, as compared to any other program possible. And we've got access to it through our membership with NISAC as well as our membership with NACo. And so we certainly encourage everyone to come through the program. And one thing that we're really excited to share with you today is some feedback that we've recently received that is on the next slide from supervising managers who have been enrolling their team. There's one aspect of this on the far right-hand side that I want to draw your attention to. 96% of supervising managers who were interviewed and talked with around this program either strongly agree that this program specifically had equipped their leaders and the teams of their leaders to better lead and navigate in times of change. And that's one thing we're extremely proud of. That is what we set out to accomplish. And this bit of feedback really helps us to understand that we are on track to helping make existing leaders better and emerging leaders ready. And so with that, I do want to introduce Dan and Tara on the next slide. These are folks that you know, they're your friends, your colleagues, your peers, and there are some testimonials additionally here on the slide too that you can certainly read. But I did want to maybe I'll start with Tara. And Tara, I know you've gone through this program, and I know that you had a great experience with it. And Tara, I'd love to have you just share any comments, perspectives relative to Saratoga County and your role at Saratoga County, the importance of leadership development, and what this program has enabled you to do, or what this program has meant to you in the leadership role that you play.
Sure, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
You certainly can. Thanks, Tara.
One of the lessons in the academy was definitely Semper Gumby. Would you like me to put my camera on, or?
It's up to you. It'd be great to see you.
All right, happy to do it. Thank you all, and thank you especially Mark and Tim for being a little bit flexible. We actually had we're having some high heat here, as is everyone, and we had a medical emergency with someone out, and so that's why you see me in my fancy dress right now. I would say it was really helpful to me, the Performance Academy. I've done graduate work in leadership and business, so I wasn't actually sure how much I would get, but I was also new to county government, and so it was really important to me to learn. And it was really great for me from the perspective of I'm in a minority on my board in a lot of ways. And it was really helpful to talk to others who had been in that position, and also how they were interested in getting perspective and in collaborating with others. And it really changed my mindset. I came in raring to go. I was going to make change and get things done. I'm still doing that, but it made me sit back and think about how I was actually going to get that done. And I think I've actually been able to accomplish a lot more in the year and a half since attending the academy, because I learned how to better collaborate with those who maybe we didn't have the same background or direction coming from it. I also really appreciated that it was flexible to be involved and learn from, because as I mentioned, our jobs are not always 9 to 5 or set hours like we expect it to be. So that was really important to me as well.
Yeah, thanks, Tara, and no problem about the flexibility. We really are glad you're there to take care of the emergency, and always great to see you. Thank you so much. And Dan, would love to get your perspective. And just as a point of reference for everyone, Madison County has enrolled 33 people, leaders from the county in this program since 2018, and has enrolled more folks in this program than any other New York county. Not putting that out there as a challenge unless you are a challenging kind of person and want to try to match what Madison's doing. But Dan, really appreciate all the work that you're focused on with workforce development and especially leadership development in the county. It's awesome to have 33 people have experienced this program and serving the county in leadership capacities. Would love to get your perspective, Mark, on the program and the importance of leadership development and what you're doing in Madison County.
Hey, Tim, how are you?
Great.
Everyone, as Tim mentioned, this is a time commitment, but I want to make sure everyone knows this can be accomplished. I work in emergency management. I took this course while responding to COVID last year. So I did this last fall. Literally, I was doing some of the coursework from my car at a drive-through testing site. But, we did what we could do, and it can be done. Another one of my cohorts in my group, she was an elections commissioner. And last fall was kind of a busy time for elections commissioners, and she managed to push through it too. So this can be done. It's a great program. It's well worth it. 4 out of the 5 members of my management staff in my office have taken this. I think that's been very beneficial for us as a department, especially as we went through some tough times last year. In that we all could manage to change together, and we could bounce ideas off of each other and help us. Take what we learned, albeit separately in this program, and bring it together as a department and really push forward. That was really great. And then I'd be remiss not to mention my one nugget that I pulled out of this class that it's on my bulletin board. I look at it every day. It's 3 words. It's bring the weather. I think that's one of the most important things that I can ever say. It's leadership is how you choose to show up, is what we were taught. It's true. How you bring the weather. If you bring good weather, your staff, your team will be that much more positive and ready to work for you, as opposed to if you bring the storm clouds that morning. So it's it's little nuggets like that that really have made a difference in our department, in our county. I've seen it countywide. Whether I'm working again with my management team here in my department or with my colleagues across the departments that have been through this too. It's really been beneficial to us as a whole.
Yeah, thanks so much, Dan. And the aspect of you bring the weather is a comment that many of our executives talk about It was brought up by the security officer at McDonald's. Mark Varner is his name. He's one of the individuals that provides his own thought leadership and virtual mentorship throughout the program. And they talked about the importance of presence. And, you know, it's as true at any organization, and especially within county government, you know, with the work that we focus on. Our presence is really important. And so, as Dan mentioned, there are a couple questions that we bring up throughout the program. And, you know, those are, you know, what will you do with the world as you find it? And then what shows up when you do? This is about bringing the weather. You know, Tara didn't come in today expecting that there would be an emergency like what she dealt with. But, you know, what will you do with the world as you find it? You know, Dan certainly didn't say, okay, fall of 2020, I'm going to be in the midst of this pandemic as a, you know, emergency management director, and I'm going to have to juggle all of these new balls while we keep everything else in the air as well. You know, there are things that we face that we just aren't preparing for right now. They're just unexpected. And so what will you do with the world as you find it? What does show up when you do? These are leadership perspectives that are really, really important. And we will open it up for any questions if anyone has, but while we do wait on questions, and Jeanette, feel free to interrupt us if there are questions. But, you know, Tara, do you want to share kind of perspectives around, you know, Saratoga County as it pertains to kind of the changes that we have faced over the last year, and what is going to be in front of us right now still, and the need for leaders such as yourself to kind of focus on change and recognize that there's a constancy of change, and we have to navigate and help others navigate through that on a regular basis as leaders.
Sure. I will start off by saying I am definitely taking that as a challenge, Dan, for Saratoga County. So we'll do that. But yeah, it's been kind of a rough year, and a lot of people have approached it from a lot of different ways. And that has made some of the decisions that we've had to make as counties much harder, because each department is looking at their particular concerns. Our public is looking at different concerns. One of the things that was really helpful to me is you've mentioned having these thought leaders come in, but it wasn't, if this happens, do X. It was how you approach, and I think, Dan, you kind of referenced it with the bring the weather. It's how you approach problems, not how you solve them. And that's a really important mindset, because we were having things change on a daily basis. You know, Dan, I'm sure you know the guidance was coming out. COVID can transmit this way and not this way. We have to do this and not this. These buildings have to shut down, these can't. And being able to maintain the calm, because you have to project that to your community. They have to be able to know that you understand what's going on and that you're planning, even if you are very much a duck paddling under the water. Because that's part of our job in government service. I know, obviously, financially, there's a big change coming for a lot of communities. A lot of us were hit very hard, especially in Saratoga County. The vast majority of our revenue, at least in my city of Saratoga Springs, comes from tourism and hospitality, of which there was none over the past year. And so being able to maintain our services, the quality of services that we provide, while recovering from this can be difficult. It actually so happens that the year before COVID, our city hall was struck by lightning and it was closed. So we've had a couple in a row, and being able to take the things that I learned, to take the steps, and to think about how I'm approaching it, even if I don't know the answer, how to work through them. I think that was a really important part. And I don't know what's coming over the next year. That's a little scary, I'm sure, as county officials trying to figure that out. But it's important that I know that I have the skills to be able to work through those problems, and that helps me project calm and confidence to the people in the county that I'm working with, and also to our public who are looking at us to make sure that they are safe and healthy, because that's our jobs.
Yeah, that's really great perspective. And Dan, one question for you, and then I'll hand it back to Jeanette to see if there's additional questions from those that are online. But one thing that's also great that we hear about the program is, certainly we do have these videos from thought leaders, as we've been talking about. We do have kind of, you know, written text, as we've got assessments throughout the program, and as you mentioned, it's all very manageable. but then we also have throughout each week opportunities to get together with peers. Usually on Thursdays, there's these what we refer to as breakout groups where, you know, members from various counties, maybe just within New York, maybe across the entire country, they come together, and there's a lot of camaraderie that can stem from meetings like that, as well as just to understand it's like, oh wow, I'm not the only one going through this challenge. And there's a lot of sharing of perspectives and best practices and insights, as well as challenges. Dan, do you want to share any perspectives about the coming together and sharing of information during breakout groups and the value that that can create from a peer-to-peer exchange?
Yeah, sure. So, you know, our breakout group, we were pretty diverse. I had a couple from New York, from my own county. There were a couple of people in my cohort group, but a lot of them were from North Carolina. One was from Pennsylvania. I think one was from West Virginia. So we got a pretty good diverse, you know, cross section of at least the East Coast. And what was interesting to me was not only our conversations about the coursework itself and the lessons we were learning, but as Tim, as you mentioned earlier today, how we could relate that immediately to what we were working on the ground. And you know, one of my cohorts was the public health. I gotta get her title wrong. She worked in the public health department in North Carolina, who was obviously very busy during COVID, and to talk to her about how they were managing a certain situation versus how we were, and we could compare notes. And it was, you know, just to grab that camaraderie right there, and then use the lessons we were learning at the same time to help enact the change that we needed to enact in our communities. Last year, you know, I'm not telling anybody any secrets. Last year was a heck of a year. We all were faced with a lot of change, and a lot of change that we couldn't, we had no clue what was coming down the pike the next day, sometimes even that afternoon, things were changing. And the ability, you know, the lessons learned were how to take those changes and approach that in the proper way. It was fantastic. I can't say enough good about this program. You know, I'm fortunate our county is supportive of this, supportive of all of us in our leadership development, and you know, we look forward to putting more people through it.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Thanks, Tara, so much for your perspectives.
Do you mind if I say one thing about the groups?
Not at all. Please go ahead, Tara.
I think Dan spoke to it as kind of diverse groups, but one thing that was helpful to me, I don't know how many elected officials are taking it, but I'm elected. Most of my peer group in the breakout group were not. And that was really helpful for me as an elected, because sometimes when we ask our staff and department heads, they are very careful in how they present things to us, which I understand. But it was great to be able to talk to people, you know, directors of emergency services, IT, in other places, and they would just be blunt and open and honest. And I think that helped me build my ability to help manage our staff as well. So whether you are, you know, a county staff member or an elected official, I think it's great to be able to compare those perspectives and get the input from people without the concern about, you know, having to go to your own people and what that might impact on your relationship.
Very good point. Very good point. We do have everyone from elected officials, such as you, Tara, commissioners, judges, others that have been through this program and absolutely love it, as much so as we do everyone else. And we do have executive directors, we've got clerks, we've got assessors, we've got directors of HR, we've got managers of HR, we've got frontline leaders and emerging leaders that are coming up through the staff ranks, who are, you know, destined in the next 6 months, the next couple of years, to be in leadership roles, and they're looking to get ready. And so again, Dan, thank you so much for all that you do, you know, in Madison County, and Tara, thank you for everything that you're doing in Saratoga County. We really appreciate both of you for the work that you're doing locally across the state and across the country to strengthen not just our counties, but our entire country in the work that you do. We really appreciate it. For anyone that is interested in learning more about the Leadership Development Program, either for yourself or for your teams of individuals within your counties, you can certainly contact any of the members at NISAC. They can direct you to more information, or you can go to the NACo website directly at naco.org/skills to learn more and even enroll direct from that site. So again, thank you both for all the work that you do and your participation today. And Jeanette, I'm gonna pass it back to you to see if there's any questions that have come in. We're happy to stay on the line, but I'll pass it back to you at this time, Jeanette. Thank you.
Hey Tim, it's Mark. So I do have one question. We have a number of counties on the line, and one question is if a county wanted to enroll a number of individuals, either department heads or 2 or 3 or 5 individuals from one department, how would they go about doing that?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's very easy. You can either email us directly, or if you do go to that naco.org/skills site, you can enroll directly. Just say enroll me, and we will get that email will come to us, and we'll get in touch with you, and we will take care of that. There is a process to go through. There is you'll fill out an enrollment form of here are the 5 people that we want to have participate in this program. And at that point, we'll work with you to calculate the scholarship that you get from NACo and what the final cost is, and we'll send that at your convenience relative to invoicing for that payment. But naco.org/skills, Mark, is the place to go, and you can sign up. You can also learn more information. There's some videos out there, and as well as some PDFs that you can download to see some additional content around what the 12 weeks really looks like, and that those PDFs have proven really valuable to pass along to other staff to gain their interest and help them get enrolled.
That's great. Thank you very much. In fact, I think I might reach out and get one of those PDFs so that we can send it along to counties so that they can share it with some of their officials and determine whether or not they would want to send a few individuals to the PDA next year.
That sounds great. Our next programs start in August and September. Those are our last starts for this year. August group will finish just before Thanksgiving, and the September groups that start will finish just before Christmas. We do have such great demand for this program that we do already have 4 starts planned for next year as well, which will be in January, April, August, and September again of next year. So,
and how many New York County officials have gone through the program, Tim? Approximately.
Yeah, that's a good question. I want to say there's probably around 100 or so officials from New York. I don't have the exact number off the top of my head. We've had about 2,000 people already this year in total across counties. We'll probably end up with close to 3,000 participants. I want to say New York has had probably about 100, 120 participants in total. And again, 33 of those came from Madison County.
Great. Well, I thank you all for your time this afternoon. If there are any questions, if anyone who's on the call or on the webinar today has a question, you can reach out to me. You can reach out to Tim. You can reach out to Luke, who's on the call right now, or you can reach out to Dan or Tara or any of our members who have gone through this program, and we're certainly willing and able and want to help you learn more about this program. So thank you, Tim, and thank you, Dan. Thank you, Tara. Thank you, Jeanette, for your time this afternoon, and we look forward to seeing you soon.